Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Recha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter. As we went through in the 11th chapter, we saw the moment in which King David, committed a great iniquity, right, in displeasing the Lord, committing adultery against with Uriah the Hittite's wife, and then maliciously having Uriah murdered, basically in war. So this is 2 Samuel 12:1. In the aftermath of that, and the Lord Yahweh sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him, and said unto him, There were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, one small female lamb, which he had brought up and nourished up, and it grew up together with him, and with his children, and it did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. So he really loved and cherished and took care of this one lamb that he had. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock and of his own herd to dress for the wayfaring man that was come unto him. So there was a visitor, somebody traveling through the land to see the rich man, and of all the flocks that he had, or of all the sheep that he had, he didn't take any of them to prepare for that man, but instead took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. So that one lamb that the poor man had, he had that killed and prepared as food for the traveler. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and said to Nathan, As the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. Because David was thinking this is like an actual event that has happened. Like who's wicked ass would do something like that? And he shall restore the lamb fourfold. He's going to restore, basically give him 80 for it. Or fourfold is kind of like 4 times as much. Let me say that instead of fourfold. Because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. And Nathan said to David, Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house, and thy master's wives into thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such and such things. Now, what the Lord means by this is not that he gave literally Saul's wives to David, because David never took Saul's wives, right? But in saying this, the Lord was saying he gave everything that Saul had to David, i.e. he translated the royalty or the royal estate into David's hand. All right, hence David now stepped in the room of Saul. Not necessarily that he actually took the actual wives of Saul, but in saying this is signifying that basically all the authority and luxury that Saul enjoyed, David now enjoyed as being king. And the Lord was saying, if that wasn't enough, I would have given you more. That's what he means by such and such things, be it more women or more riches, whatever it is you wanted, I would have given you more. Wherefore, why then hast thou despised the commandment of the Lord to do this evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast slain his wife, or Salakia has taken his wife, which he did slay on the bed. Anyway, thou hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. So you basically, you slew an innocent man. You set him up to die by the hand of the children of Ammon, and then you took his wife to be yours. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. So you're the same way you had Uriah slain, the sword shall not depart from thine house, meaning within your household there's going to be like war. because that's what the sword represents, and violence and bloodshed. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun, meaning in public. For thou didst it secretly, right? You committed this adultery secretly. But I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. But I'm going to have this done to you openly. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, the Lord also hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. And that's why, we make reference to the mercy, right, that the Lord had upon David, because what he did, two things, right? Adultery is a sin unto death, and murder is a sin unto death. But here, as it says, the Lord put away his sin, meaning the Lord pardoned it and had it to where David wouldn't die. He wouldn't be put to death, but he would be punished. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme. Now you've given people an opportunity to basically, disrespect the Lord, in the sense that, well, this is the man you chose to be king over Israel. Are these the kind of men you desiring? Is this the kind of man that's a man after your own heart, one that commits adultery with his neighbor's wife and has the man murdered? The child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. And Nathan departed unto his house. And the Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought the Lord God for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. So he basically prayed for the child for mercy and fasted, and basically, as it says, lay all that night upon the earth, so be on the ground. And the elders of his house arose, not like the actual bare earth, like the soil, but just the floor. And the elders of his house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the 7th day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? So when the child was alive and we try to get him to eat and he didn't even hear that, how much more now that the child is dead? I'm afraid of what he's going to do to himself. But when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead. So he suspected, I think that, the child is dead. Therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and worshipped, being that temple that he had, that tabernacle he had set up with the ark in it. And he came to his own house, and when he inquired, they set bread before him, and he did eat. So he came home and asked for food. They put the food there, and he ate. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive. But when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread? So when the child was alive, you were weeping and fasting, and now that he's dead, you're eating? You're like, they were confused, right? To say, like, usually you would be mourning because the child is dead. It would make more sense to be fasting now. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether God will be gracious to me, gracious to me, that the child may live, right? So there may be a chance that the Lord will have mercy and the child will live and survive. And that's why I fasted and wept. But now he is dead. Wherefore should I fast? So I clearly got the answer. He's dead now. So what's the point in continuing to fast? Can I bring him back again? Oops. Let's go back up. Here we go. Can I bring him back again? Shall I go to him? Oh, Slaki, I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. So as David responded to them, well, he's dead now. No amount of fasting is going to bring him back. One day, I'm going to join him, right, in the spirit world, but he's not going to return back to this world. He's not coming back to life to me. So that's why I'm eating, right? There's no point in fasting at this point. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went in unto her and lay with her, and she bare a son. And he called his name Solomon, and the Lord loved him. So the Lord loved Solomon. And he sent by the hand, and this goes to show you, right, that it's really the spirit that is in the body that the Lord sees, because Solomon hadn't done anything at this point, and yet the Lord loved him. So what is it that makes the Lord love one over another when they both haven't done anything yet? And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah, because of the Lord, which I believe that is beloved of the Lord. Let's take a look here. Yada Yada, beloved of the Lord, Yahweh. A name given to Solomon through the Nathan the prophet. Now, that wasn't his official birth name, right? But it was a name nonetheless given to him. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. So basically get the rest of the army and come and complete the job, because if I do it, they're going to give the credit to me, right? So you come and get it, you the king. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown from off his head. The weight thereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, and under axes of iron. Now, it doesn't mean that he was cutting them or chopping them up with saws. It means he put them to labor, and made them pass through the brickkiln. And thus did he onto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So he basically took them for servants and slaves and workers. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. And I'll pull this up in the NKJV as well. And he brought out the people who were in it, the city that is, and put them to work with saws and iron picks and iron axes, and made them cross over to the brickworks. For he did to all the cities of the people, or so he did to all the cities of the people of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. And that brings us to the end of 2 Samuel, the 12th chapter. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.